we got a poll question for you right now. Describe your confidence level now that fall camp has begun. With the reports coming in that you're hearing, that you're reading, that you're seeing so far, is your confidence rising? Is it unchanged? Is it falling? 11% of you feel better just in these 4 days of early reports. 89% of you, you're unchanged. So those are the Sterling people.
Yeah.
It sounded good. Right. Click the QR code with your smartphone there, or go to our new website, ssdn.tv, and you can play along. Just go to the polls area right there and click on it, and you can play along. I like to know what the people are thinking, so please tell us what you're thinking there. All right. Adam Sparks, the Knoxville News Sentinel, who I think does a really good job, he did some number crunching this week and tied his results to the blue chip ratio that we've talked about. That ratio has been around since 2011, and since 2011, every team that's won a national championship, more than 50% of the players from their previous 4 recruiting classes have been 4s and 5 stars. Now, the problem is you're now in a portal world where half those guys come and go, but still, when you go by the blue chip ratio, Tennessee, for the first time, is above it. So they're in the group that could win a national title according to that. 54% of the team are 4s and 5 stars according to the recruiting stuff. But the interesting thing is, 49%, according to Adam, when he went back and looked at how many people on this team, he looked at the whole body, 49% of this team are freshmen and true freshmen. That is young. That is extremely young. So 50% basically is young. Ryan, is this the most talented team that Heupel has had, in your opinion? And also, how much does inexperience eat into that a little bit? Because when you hear, that's the most talented team, it should be his best team.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's a sliding scale.
Right.
That's good, but that's the X, Y, you get the X-axis. What's the Y-axis here with the youth thing?
I do think this might be, it's obviously close with last year's team because how much does losing Nico knock down the overall talent level on offense, things like that. But I think this is quite possibly Tennessee's most talented team under Josh Heupel. And it probably should be in year 5. You would normally expect that. 4 full recruiting classes in, transfer portal additions, all that. But I think overall, the problem, like you said, is the youth and where it is in some cases. You got David Sanders maybe starting as a true freshman at right tackle. You've got young wide receivers. That's a concern. So I think it is, and that's why I think it's kind of crazy hearing the talk of Tennessee finishing 10th or 11th in the SEC. I just think they're too talented, and the schedule's too easy for that. But on top of that, I mean, how high can they climb because of the youth? That's the question I have. I think it's probably at least a team that should be in the discussion for a 9-win season because of the talent. But again, the youth is a concern, and now quarterback being a question mark too. I get the uncertainty. So yeah, I think it's the most talented team Heupel's had probably on paper.
Jimmy, do you agree?
No. I would take the 2022 team. I don't know what Hendon Hooker's rankings were, but he's better than what Tennessee's got at quarterback. I know that Matthews is a 5-star receiver, but he's not as good as Jalen Hyatt.
Is he as good as Cedric Tillman?
Or Cedric Tillman. So and there is a distinction between talent and proven talent. And this one doesn't have nearly the proven talent that they did in 2022. But I would take the 2022 roster over this one. I think the offensive line, the receivers, probably the running backs. I would take the defensive talent, but not the offensive talent. I don't think the offensive talent is close to what it was in 2020.
Well, and the interesting thing, though, if you go back to 2022, we're looking at it in reverse. We're looking at it backwards. At the start of 2022, we weren't talking about, look at the talent over there. Jalen Hyatt was the guy who had all the drops the year before. Yeah. So it turned out, yes, there was talent. Maybe that turns out here. The problem is those guys in 2022 were basically, those were veterans. Whereas here you're turning it over to young guys, which concerns me.
And didn't they have like at least four players taken in the first 4 rounds of 2022? Yeah. Darnell Wright ended up being a first-round pick, but they had some others.
Hyatt, Tillman, and Hooker.
And Hooker were like in the 4th round, I think.
All in the first
round. Because of a lot of it's unproven, I just don't think, regardless of the star ratings, and I don't only go by it because I've seen some 5-star play like 3 and some 3-stars play like 5s. Yep. I would take 2022 roster.
Well, Lance Hurd was a 5-star last year. He didn't play like a 5-star. Maybe he will this year.
And neither did Matthews.
Right, the good one. Of course, he didn't play like 5-star because we really didn't see him on the field. You'd think a 5-star would have been out there. Daniel and Ollie, let me ask you guys, look, nobody's ever going to say, boy, I would rather have very experienced guys with no talent. You're always going to say, give me the inexperienced guys, but give me talent. Got to have the talent. But as guys who've been on these teams before, how much does the inexperience, at least early in the season, I expect by November you're going to be veterans. But
Yeah.
how much early in the season does the inexperience cut into the talent level?
Yeah, I can give you one story that kind of highlights it. We had a brand new center. This was the 2009-2010 season. And we had the Oregon game. Rain came in. We're about to go to halftime. All we needed to do is take a knee to go in. Our brand new starting center, first time starting his entire life, snaps the ball to the quarterback, and the center takes a knee with the quarterback. And it's just like you have these little things that don't make any sense at all. We had Juwan James, who's a 10-year NFL vet, that lined up his first game at a 45-degree angle outside. And so, like, he's obviously a very talented guy, but this experience part of it, you can only get it. And that's why you almost take, and like, if you look at it, the reason I started over Mo Couch was I didn't have as much talent, but I had more experience and knew the right gaps to be in. And, like, they can count on me to be there every single play. So you got to have guys like that. But with that being said, their talent over there is unbelievable. I've never seen.
You commented to me yesterday after you
Yeah.
watched the practice. You thought there was a step up in
Oh,
terms
man.
of bodies.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, maybe it's a national overall, just this generation's more athletic, but, and you'll have to say the name, but number 34, I've never seen an athlete like that in my entire life.
Emmanuel Okoye, and that's a guy who probably won't have a role on defense this year because they're deep at the Leo position.
This is the guy who came in from Africa, correct?
Yes.
That was the debate was: do you put him at tight end, or do you put him at defensive end? And here I wanted
him on the field.
I said put him on defense because I
Field
thought you
goal
needed
block.
defense. Now it's like maybe you need him on offense. Flip him back over there. Ollie, the difference between talent and youth.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll give it two things. So, one very similar example to Daniel gave. I was not the most talented offensive lineman. I'm sure if you ask anybody out there, they probably didn't want me to be out there.
If you go back and watch
playing
this show,
center.
we sang the praises
Oh,
of
yeah.
Ollie.
But I had
Lane train.
experience. I knew what I was supposed to be doing in there. Did I do it the best? No. Was I a world beater? No. But I was able to fill the gap, get the block that I was supposed to, and so it goes a long way.
Won a lot of games with you
Yes.
in there.
Yeah, maybe. But I will say the one thing that experience does help you out with a lot is when you start getting to game 8, game 9, game 10, when you start getting late in the season, your body hurts. You don't want to get up for practice. You don't want to get up. It's harder to feel that motivation for the game day as you get later in the season. And that's where that experience kicks in. It carries you on through the rest of the season. Because, I mean, there's going to be midway near the end of the season, you're kind of seeing that light at the end, like, oh, we're almost getting through this thing, but you're pretty beat down. So, I mean, you got to find that motivation to want to go out there every day. And that's a lot of what that experience will do. Because as a freshman, you're not used to those long, drawn-out seasons. And so it takes a while to kind of build that seasoning to yourself.
And then I was just going to say the key to this team is how much experience they can get in the ETSU game, the Syracuse game, these early games before you start SEC play. If they get those guys to take a jump, 9-10 win seasons easy on the table.
But this is why I'm concerned. Jimmy, I know you are too. There aren't many people in town who don't just, oh, well, Syracuse, you'll kill them. I'm not going there yet.
I'm not either.
I remember Georgia State. Sorry. I've seen
Well,
I've
even-
seen
I
things
do
you don't
too.
expect in openers, especially when you're putting a lot of new guys out there who are inexperienced.
Even my team never really
Sorry.
lost.
Didn't mean to bring that up.
Even my team never lost out of conference except for Oregon.
That's different, though.
Syracuse won 10 games last year. And I know they've lost a lot of personnel, but
Yeah,
they were
all the
10-game winners.
But I will say on this discussion, what Jimmy said is the key. On defense, I think they definitely have more talent than they did in 2022. It's just a matter of whether that offense can be anything comparable to what they were in 2022.
Did we have the poll question? I don't know if we kept that up or not, but I was trying to see where we are. Yeah, let's go ahead and enter
rising.
that. Oh, yeah, it's changed a little
Falling.
bit. Look at that. Falling has oh, my goodness. What are you guys doing? You made everybody say.
You know what they heard about
Sterling
those
back in
drives?
Yeah,
another
quickly.
segment.